Beat me in tennis and I'll marry you. CEO mocked the single dad janitor. Crowd froze at his secret skill. The polished marble floors of Iridian Dynamics gleamed under the harsh fluorescent lights, reflecting the cold, sterile efficiency of the corporate world. Among the sea of tailored suits and clicking heels, Elias Carter moved quietly, his worn janitor uniform a stark contrast. Tucked securely in the crook of his arm, her tiny hand clutching his sleeve, was his 5-year-old daughter, Lily. She'd been sick again, and with no one else to watch her, Elias had no choice but to bring her to work. Again. Across the gleaming atrium, Victoria Thorne observed them with a practiced, dismissive flick of her perfectly manicured hand. Victoria, known for her razor-sharp intellect and even sharper tongue, saw only an inconvenience, a smudge on her pristine corporate canvas. She'd made snide remarks before about Elias's domestic distractions, but today, fueled by post-merger stress and a misplaced sense of invincibility, she decided to make a spectacle. "Janitor!" Her voice, amplified by the cavernous space, cut through the low hum of conversation. Heads snapped up. Elias froze, instinctively pulling Lily closer. The tiny girl buried her face in his chest, wide eyes peeking out nervously. Victoria strode over, her designer heels echoing like gunshots. A small crowd, sensing drama, began to gather. "Janitor, still dragging your responsibility to work?" she sneered, her gaze lingering on Lily with undisguised contempt. "Honestly, Elias, it's unprofessional. Doesn't Viridian pay you enough to afford childcare? Or perhaps," she added with a cruel smirk, "you just enjoy the attention." Elias kept his head down, his voice low but steady. "She's sick, Miss Thorne. My sister's away. I have no one else." Victoria scoffed. "Excuses. Look, I'm feeling magnanimous today. There's that old, long tennis court out back, practically abandoned. How about this? You play me. Best of 3 sets. If," she paused, letting the condescension drip, "if by some miracle you beat me, I'll marry you." She let out a sharp, brittle laugh. "And if I win, you find proper childcare or find another job. Deal?" The crowd gasped. Lily whimpered, clinging tighter. Elias's knuckles whitened on the handle of his mop bucket. Marry her? The absurdity was staggering, the humiliation profound. But the threat to his job, his only lifeline for Lily, was real. He looked down at his daughter's tear-streaked face, her trust in him absolute even now. He couldn't lose this, not for her. "Deal," he said, his voice rough but firm. He gently set Lily down. "Stay right here, sweetheart. Daddy's just going to play a quick game." The walk to the neglected long tennis court felt like a death march. The crowd followed, a mix of morbid curiosity and pity. Victoria strutted ahead, radiating confidence, already mentally drafting the memo about the janitor's inevitable public failure. The court was overgrown, the lines faded, but the long tennis posts stood tall. Long tennis, a precursor to modern tennis played with solid rackets and a heavier ball over a net, demanded power and precision. Victoria, an avid player at her exclusive country club, assumed it would be child's play against a janitor. The first serve was hers, a powerful, flat shot aimed to end it quickly. Elias, moving with a surprising coiled grace, met it not with brute force, but with a soft, angled drop shot that died just over the net. Victoria scrambled, missed, and stared in disbelief. Lucky. The second point, another hard serve. Elias countered with a deep, heavy topspin lob that arced high and landed just inside the baseline, bouncing high and awkwardly. Victoria, used to predictable bounces on pristine courts, fumbled the return into the net.
fluke." The crowd murmured. Lily, forgotten in her fear for a moment, clapped her tiny hands. "Go, Daddy!" Victoria's face tightened. She served again, harder, angrier. Elias didn't just return it. He unleashed a blistering cross-court winner that whistled past her. 3-0. The murmurs grew louder. Who was this man? The truth, hidden for years, began to surface in the rhythm of his strokes. Before life handed him hardship, the accident that took his wife, the mountain of medical debt, the desperate scramble for any job to keep a roof over Lily's head, Elias Carter had been Eli Carter, a rising star in the long tennis circuit. He'd trained relentlessly, his game built on finesse, anticipation, and an uncanny ability to read his opponent. He'd walked away from it all when his world collapsed, burying that part of himself deep beneath layers of grief and responsibility. But the muscle memory, the instinct, the sheer love for the game, it never truly died. Victoria, now sweating and frustrated, started making errors. Her powerful shots lacked placement. Her footwork grew clumsy on the uneven surface. Elias, calm and focused, moved like water. He mixed drop shots that kissed the net cord with deep drives that pinned her to the baseline. He anticipated her patterns, cutting off angles before she could even set up. The score climbed, 4-1, 5-2, 6-3. Game Elias. The second set was even more one-sided. Elias wasn't just playing, he was conducting. Every shot was a note in a symphony of controlled power and impossible touch. He made Victoria look slow, predictable, out of her depth. The crowd, initially smirking, was utterly silent, then erupted in spontaneous applause after each point. Lily jumped up and down, her earlier tears forgotten, shrieking, "Daddy's winning! Daddy's the best!" Victoria served at 0-5, her hand trembling. A double fault, match point. She served again, a desperate, wild swing. Elias met it with a gentle, feather-light touch, a drop shot so perfect it rolled just over the net and stopped dead. Victoria lunged, stumbled, and fell to her knees in the dusty clay, not from the fall, but from the sheer, humbling weight of her defeat. Silence. Then a single clear voice cut through it. "Daddy won!" Lily sprinted across the court, her small arms flung wide. Elias dropped his racket and scooped her up, burying his face in her hair, his own shoulders shaking with silent sobs of relief and overwhelming emotion. The crowd erupted, cheers, whistles, tears. The sterile corporate atrium transformed into a stadium of shared humanity. Victoria Thorne slowly rose, brushing dirt from her expensive slacks. The mockery was gone, replaced by stunned awe and a dawning profound shame. She walked over, not with her usual hauteur, but with hesitant steps. She looked at Elias, holding his daughter, then at Lily's beaming, trusting face. I was wrong," she said, her voice thick, barely audible over the din. "About everything. Your skill, your dedication, your daughter." She took a deep breath. "The job is yours, indefinitely. And Lily?" She managed a small, genuine smile. "She can come to work with you, anytime. Consider it company policy." Elias just nodded, holding Lily tighter. He didn't need her marriage proposal, her hollow offer born of arrogance. He had what mattered: his daughter's joy, his dignity restored, and the quiet knowledge that the strength he'd forged in hardship was worth more than any corporate title. As he walked back towards the building, Lily chattering excitedly about his magic racket, the crowd parted for them, not as janitor and CEO, but as a father and his child who had just reminded everyone that true worth isn't measured in stock options, but in love, resilience, and the quiet courage to show up day after day for the ones you hold dear. The polished floors seemed a little less cold that day. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to ACA Storytales for more emotional stories.